I really wonder if the folks in left-wing media really understand the gravity of the situation that they're in. I think the analogy I like to use the most is the street fighter analogy. You have a street fighting culture where it's Wild West. People are just doing whatever. Underground fighting, no rules, no holes, and no holds barred, I guess. People use brass knuckles, throw dirt in your face. I mean, it's just anything goes. That's the realm that MAGA exists in. You have the craziest people saying the craziest things, and almost no one in right-wing media would ever call them out, right? You're a crazy MAGA Trump supporting person, and you're out there saying some crazy stuff. John F. Kennedy's coming back, some Pizzagate thing or whatever. Craziest thing, right? Lizard people. And you will be shielded and protected by almost the entire right-wing media, right? So it's no holds barred. Right now, Trump is now nominating, some sexual predators, some real creeps, corrupt people, oligarchs, and they're all shielded, man. Like, it's anything goes. Trump can just nominate whoever he wants, and he will be shielded by Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Tim Pool, Blaze TV, Newsmax, AONN, United Front. So Trump can do whatever he wants. He can lie. He can do the most bizarre, corrupt thing ever, and they will all line up behind him, submissive to power, the entire right-wing infrastructure. So I hear people in left-wing media talking about, like Brian Tyler Cohen and Pat Colinci talking about we got to fight back and we got to be more aggressive. And listen, man. So back to the street fighting analogy. You guys are the ones who want to come into the street fighting world and you want to be above the belt, right? You're coming in with your boxing gloves and your technicalities and details and, the temperatures needs to be appropriate and, we got to consider weight classes and blah. And you're in a ring where anything goes. You're going to lose, right? With the strategies you guys are utilizing and what you're talking about doing. I look at Destiny right now. Like what Destiny's doing, all these softball interviews and a little echo chamber. Here's what you're up against. Your opponents get to say whatever, do whatever, so they can use all nothing but cheap tricks, right? Talk about trans people, woke this, woke that, whatever gets the clicks the easiest. Unfortunately, since you guys are actually trying to fix things and address serious issues, that stuff is boring. Right? Talk about what needs to be done with healthcare. It's boring getting into policies and this and that and the average income of such and economic indicators and this and that and do you know that 50% of whatever. Like that's the reality of where you guys are at, right? If you were doing the no holds barred thing, if you stood for nothing like a Tim Pool, then it's easy, right? You just stick with whatever's sexy, boobs and explosions, right? Boobs and explosions. That's your whole thing. That's easy, man. This is getting clicks. Okay, let me do more of this. Woke this and there's a woke movie and there's a trans person and look at this syrup and look at the M&Ms, right? You can't defeat that talking about policies and things that are difficult. It's difficult and challenging and boring to solve the issues that need to be solved. So you're not going to be able to compete with all the noise and chaos that's coming from the right-wing media. Sitting there and we're going to fact check everything and this is misinformation and they're lying about this and they're lying about that and this is the actual truth and did you know that? You got to look at this from a perspective of entertainment because a lot of this is entertainment, right? People like the bad guy, man. You watch those movies and you have that character he gets to do whatever and say whatever and doesn't have to worry about consequences. And then there's the goody two shoes. That's where you guys reside, you know? We don't want to do that because we have to consider people's feelings and this and that. That's not the right thing to do.
Like, for example, look at the environment, right? Think about the two options. You got one option where you got to be an adult and be responsible and consider the environment and maybe we should recycle and consider the consequences of our actions, right? Being responsible adults and considering consequences. That is boring, right? Fuck that, man. Global warming, it's a myth. Whatever, I'm gonna use all the plastic I want and whatever. The planet's not going anywhere. Fuck that bullshit, right? That's what you're up against. In a country that is very juvenile, we have a lot of very childish people, right? They want the easy way out, easy solution, get rich quick, right? Tai Lopez. In that country, you want to talk about being considerate and putting in the work and considering consequences and responsibilities. That's not sexy, man, right? So it's easy for me to go out there and just say, it's all made up, it's just the deep state, they're trying to this and that, and lizards and whatever. Now you're talking. That's entertaining. More cowbell. More cowbell.
I'm not trying to diminish what you guys are focused on. It's important things. But I'm just saying, as far as competing, I look at CNN, that nerdy fact checker they have, man. He's a perfect embodiment of what I'm talking about. does good work, right? But it's just, who wants to listen to some nerdy dude talking about, listen there, Donald Trump said 10 incorrect things and there. They want to listen to that, or they want to listen to Joe Rogan talk about the CFPP and the debanking and this and that. No, the government, it's woke and the woke culture and woke mind virus and there. What's the solution? On this one, in this moment, I do not know. What I do know is everything I've seen in response from the left-wing media in this moment is not it. I haven't seen anyone in left-wing media that is on the right track in terms of a winning strategy to fight back in this moment against what's going on. I see a tsunami headed for us, and I'm looking at the entire left-wing media setting up a nylon tent on the beach, and they're all in their little tent sitting there. Economic indicators, this and that, the healthcare, the Gaza this and the Gaza that, Joe Biden this, the peace deal. What do you think is going to happen when the tsunami hits? You think the tent's going to hold? I don't. I hate to be like a right-winger. Rather than proposing a solution, I'm just pointing out a problem. But the truth is not always what we'd like it to be, and it's not always what we want to hear. And the truth is all I have to give. And this is the truth. Left-wing media and the left broadly continues to be on a path of failure. And I think in this moment, rather than learning from their mistakes and coming up with something better, I think what they're doing is worse. In particular, what I'm seeing coming from Destiny lately. You're not going to podcast your way out of this situation. It will not work. I'm the guy who predicted that the election would go towards Trump 3 years before 2024. I'm the guy who predicted 3 years ago that the Democrats would lose power in the following election, the midterm, and they did. That same guy is saying right now, the left is currently on a path for failure. And part of that reason is the echo chamber they're in. Everyone's just going along with the echo chamber and following their tribe. The only people giving the strongest criticisms of what they're doing are bad faith actors in the right. And that's a problem. You need a lot more good faith critiques on what you guys are doing from people who aren't obsessed with social media followings and likes and views and trying to build a following. And that is the disease that is going to bring this country to its knees. I wish I had better things to say and more positive message to give. But again, the truth is the truth. And that's all I have to give.